I don't know. This is the first time I'm doing this, so this is a whole new experience for me. I mean, probably for you guys too. I mean, I know you want to do podcasts.
I've never been in a podcast before. I've been on TV, radio.
That's probably like a step above.
Okay.
It's more than...
That's more than podcast, yeah.
Okay.
What's up, guys? Episode 1 of Fresh Popcorn. We are here with Nate Delapaz, the CEO and founder of Nothing. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, you're right on that one.
Yeah, Nate Delapaz, one of my good friends. We have Luis Sanchez here. He works with me at Universal City Walk, but he is also from Venezuela and is also a psychiatrist. Psychologist. He's also a psychologist. Do you want to kind of go into that real quick, like what that background entails?
Sure. I mean, I grew up in Venezuela, as you know. I grew up in the second largest city in Venezuela, and I went to school to study psychology. At first, when I was younger, I wanted to be a doctor, and what captivated my attention about that is more like how the brain works. So I was more like into the field of neurology, and how the brain works and how our brain makes us be who we are more than anything. So, but at some point I just wanted to give it a shot to study psychology just to see if I liked it, like neuropsychology, all that kind of stuff, because I found, I was growing up that I was more interested like in what people do and how people think and what people are more than like, a doctor evaluates or assesses the body, all right? Yeah. So in psychology, it's a little bit different because you don't assess something that has a physical body. You assess something that exists.
But it's just all up in here.
Yeah, but also has a lot to do with your brain. And it has a lot to do with your body, because if you didn't have a brain, then you couldn't have like a mental structure and you couldn't have a personality to begin with. So yeah, I started it to give it a shot, and then I was really passionate about it in the first months, and now it's like all I think about, and what I do is now it's my thing.
All you think about is your psychology. No, I find it interesting too. I actually, that was one of the classes that when I did take college classes, that was one that I actually enjoyed the most, because I love learning about how the brain works. But I want to go into that a little bit later.
Absolutely.
I want to introduce Nate. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Nate. Actually, do you want me to introduce myself first? Tell me a little bit about so you can have time to think. I won't put you on the spot. I'm also going to probably change chairs because this one's squeaking. So let me do that real quick. It's better. About myself, my name is Seth Grether. I am a visual video creator. I make graphics, videos, and photography. That's kind of my thing. But I kind of do a whole like shotgun method to a lot of stuff. I just try to create a whole different type of experience. I try to like do a whole bunch of stuff at once, and I feel like that kind of backfires at times. But there's a lot of things that I want to do like with video, and so this is one branch of that. It's Fresh Popcorn. It's a hopefully weekly. We don't know the schedule yet, but it's going to be just kind of a podcast, test the waters, and see how it goes. See if this is something we can do. It's a lot of work, surprisingly. I had only a couple days to prepare this, so we'll see how this one goes, and like if there's a response to it, then we'll keep making them. But this is the first episode of many, hopefully. That's kind of my background. Nate, if you want to kind of dive into yourself.
Myself. Okay. So, yeah, you said my name, Nate. Last name, Delapaz. I don't know. I have not much to go on, really.
I mean, but...
So, I'm just trudging through life right now.
Gotcha.
So, it's like, I have nothing really going on, but I'm planning on to have some things going on.
Something that interests you.
Yeah.
Anything.
Nothing yet.
Well, okay, so I know you wanted to do podcasts. You also wanted to do Twitch.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, kind of go into that a little bit?
I'm trying to dive into it, but I just don't have much time. It's usually a time thing. It's like, because a lot of work, there are other things to take care of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember you saying you're passionate about, like, creating game content. So, like, video game content or, like, other things like that. So, eventually diving into that probably would be really awesome to see.
Well, yeah, I'm going to have to, like, take a big leap into it when I have the time to do that.
And I feel like it'll fall into place, It's like things will happen where things will fall into place, but yeah. So, and you work at Universal too.
Yeah.
So we all work at Universal.
I work
Awesome.
in Diagon Alley.
Yeah, Diagon Alley
So,
repping and then City Walk repping over
I'm in
here.
the Harry Potter area. It's not as bad as Hogsmeade.
Well, we're gonna
right
go
now.
into the theme parks real
So-
quick. We're gonna go into the theme
So
parks.
we're
real
gonna
quick.
save the delicious
Alright.
theme park
Yeah.
things later.
Before we jump into that, I did want to just say to the camera, because I skipped this completely in my notes, but about fresh popcorn real quick, this whole podcast idea. The whole idea of this entire name and this entire thing, it's not to be the same as every other podcast kind of thing. You don't want to have an issue and solve the issue. I just want it to be really down to earth, like just conversation, just pretending that all this stuff isn't here, right?
Okay.
But like to offer a fresh look on things. So like if there's something that you like don't necessarily talk about all the time, or you don't hear about, or you just kind of like go along with and then bring it up and people kind of think of it and go, oh yeah, I never thought about that. You know, kind of that kind of response is kind of what I want the show to be like. So that's the goal of the show, is to just kind of like offer a good like fresh look on something, and not to like solve an issue, but just to bring light to it, you know. So, but with the whole theme parks, right? We all work in theme parks, so we all understand with Orlando especially how crazy it can be. So what do you think about like the lifestyle here with the theme parks? Do you think it's overrated?
You know, like when I was a kid, like probably all I wanted to do was to come here to Disney, or you know, go to Universal. It's like a huge worldwide destination here. So, but once you move here, you don't like really, well, not me personally. I don't really pay much attention to like going to the theme parks or trying this new ride, or you know, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's nice. I like it, but I guess that I'm not so hype about it as I was when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? So, and when you live here, it's like, and you have it right there, and you work at Universal, so you could literally go anytime you like. You know, it's just.
Well, but like I feel like even as a kid, like, cause like I was the same way as a kid, where I was like I just wanted to go to the parks all the time, and I was like, it was like a whole nother world in a way. But growing up, it's just kind of, I don't know. I feel like maybe I became used to it. Like kind of you see when you see like somebody get killed in a movie as a kid, it like freaks you out at first, but you get desensitized in a way.
Yeah, that's
More
the
like
right word
eating
to
it
use.
like a bunch of peanut butter, and it's just oversaturated your taste buds. Yeah,
Just a whole bunch of
just
peanut butter.
yeah,
So-
just like a bunch of peanut butter, just
So-
oversaturated your taste buds.
That's
You
like
can't
a
deal
metaphor
with
to
it.
describe
a
Orlando.
whole bunch
Yeah,
of
to
peanut
me,
butter.
It's like if you live here like
Wait.
long enough, like it's like when you eat something so much, you kind of don't like it anymore.
Orlando is crunchy peanut butter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you study philosophy by chance? No, or literature? No.
No.
When you
not
think
at
about
all.
it, right? Like Orlando is crunchy peanut butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It makes total
Because
sense to me.
because I love
Yeah.
peanut butter, but I hate the crunch. And I love Orlando, but there's some stuff here that's just like, oh man,
It's
it's like okay,
I need something new.
exactly. I feel like they just need something new.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, but like I honestly, like I like the parks. I do think it's a little overhyped, but I understand from like an outsider's perspective. I just think I'm biased because I've lived here my whole life. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I got you.
And I don't know. Especially with like I have my dad who works at Disney, and then you know you guys we all work at Universal now, and it's like you have both parks in a way you can get access to.
Yeah.
I just feel like maybe either taking it for granted or it's overrated.
I think I go more to the city walk to eat, to dine, more than I go to the parks.
I do that
actually.
too.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
also a lot of tourists do that.
They
Like
do.
they do all the things, you know.
They're like paying
Good
like
and
a
bad.
bunch of money just to go there.
You know,
So it's
10
like-
p.m. They're all
it's
exhausted.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I kind of went into it a little bit, but like working at a theme park. So like we have our like this is our kind of perspective on what we think about theme parks. But like, was it different working it? Because I personally I love working Universal, like hands down. It sounds I'm not sponsored, but Universal hire me in this sense, sponsor me. I mean I'm already hired by Universal, but in this sense, sponsor me. No, like I literally this is the first job. With an exception, right? This is the first job that I actually genuinely love. Even though we're just working in the City Walk food service area, like it's something that I genuinely enjoy being. I love being there.
Good for you. I mean, that's something
You're
you
like,
need.
no,
No, to me,
no.
no, to me, it's not like that. I have to be honest. I mean, not that I think that it's a bad job at all.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's just that, for me to be really passionate about something, I gotta be passionate about it.
Exactly.
So.
But also too, you were in your career field, right? In
Yeah,
Venezuela?
exactly. Absolutely.
You were in your career field at Venezuela, so you went from psychology to moving here.
Yeah, I mean, like, basically what happened is that, well, as many people know, there's, a narco regime that, took over my country, and just a communist regime that it's got a lot of people into poverty, into hunger. I mean, there's hard access to food, hard access to medication, hard access to everything.
That's all from the president,
Nicolas Maduro, yeah.
Nicolas Maduro.
So basically,
If you want to explain that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like it's been a long process. This party of his, it's been in power for 20 years now, and it's been more radical with the pass of time. And in the past 5 years, they just made a country that's basically oil rich. We have the biggest oil reserve in the world, and all kinds of resources. It's not only oil that we have, and they just
it is loud.
They just did something really bad to the country. Now everyone lives in poverty now, or you're either really rich because you made a fortune before, or you work for the government, or there's no middle class anymore, or you're just poor. So
I feel like it's like you're either one far left like kind of way or like a far right kind of way, and not like I'm not saying like politically. I'm saying like you're either like there's no in between.
It's literally like two factions.
Poverty or super wealthy.
Yeah, basically,
Right,
yeah. Because I mean, I grew up in a high middle class family.
Yeah.
And I had everything in my life. I never had to like work at food service or anything. Like going to college. I mean, it was all taken care of. I was an exchange student in Denmark for a year as well, all paid off by my parents and everything. Now I'm sending money back to my family. So that's just like to give you a little perspective on how things dramatically changed in just 5 years. So,
which is crazy. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I still have my office in Venezuela. I just don't use it anymore for obvious reasons. But, like I prefer to work at quick service here in the United States than being a psychologist.
Really?
Working in a hospital in my country, yeah.
Okay.
And also, like, if you're involved in any political activities and you belong to any opposition party, the government's just going to give you a hard time with everything.
Gotcha. See, I didn't know about that. I just knew...
Or kill you.
Well, see, I just knew about, like, kind of the regime of, like, not letting in any sort of aid and, like, landlocking the place, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. That's happening as well. A lot of bad things are happening.
Yeah, no, that's a thing that's been on my radar. I just didn't know a lot about, like, I remember you talked about it a little bit at the beach, which that's a whole...
Yeah, a whole different topic. Yeah, I mean, I came here and I applied for political asylum.
Yeah.
And I'm still into that process, with lawyers, I went to Miami because I had, like, an interview with a immigration officer. It's just a long process. It might take a few years, but I'm on it.
But it's crazy how much they require. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this is a country, it's really, widely populated country, and a lot of its population are basically immigrants. Not to say all of them or almost all of them.
Well, like Florida too.
At least all of our backgrounds are from somewhere else, and like it's hard because a lot of people try to come here to just to fulfill their American dreams.
Yeah.
And I think there's great opportunity here, but also I think that it's really hard to just be legal here, to have a legal status, and to be able to, as I was saying, fulfill that American dream. But that doesn't mean it is impossible. That doesn't mean that it can't be done. It just takes time, money, and effort. So it's not for everyone. That's all I'm saying.
When did you move here?
I've been here
just like
for almost 2 years now here in the United States. I've been here in Orlando for over a year now, a year and a few months. Initially, I was in Miami.
Because I was thinking about, we both were born here. No, you were born in New York.
No, I wasn't born in New York. I was actually born here. I was raised by New Yorkers.
Okay. Yes, you were raised by New Yorkers. You've been in New York, though, haven't you?
I have been to New York.
And most of your family's up there.
Yeah, most of my family is up there.
Um,
But some of them have moved down from up there to here on my mom's side. But most of them on my dad's side are still up in New York.
so this is one thing I wanted to ask because I figured this is why I wanted to bring you too is because you have this experience where you have family in New York,
Yeah.
but you also have family here, right?
Yeah.
And I know your opinions on Orlando.
What?
What's the saying?
What?
Remember I said it's a melting pot?
It's more like a cesspool.
it's just well, no, it's great. We love
It's
Orlando.
great, but it's like it's kind of like a cesspool of like multiple things.
Different
You got like
things.
I'm not just saying like races. I'm just like the mentality of some people also.
It's a wide variety.
It's a wide variety.
You get a lot of different.
So you
people
got
meet.
some crazy people here too.
Yeah, in downtown
Like,
Orlando.
Downtown Orlando,
Yeah.
definitely. Some parts of like
You get some Southern Baptists, like Bible Belt, but you
Yeah.
also get redneck country.
yeah, which is like
And then flip side,
towards like Everglade, like heading down to like the Everglade area.
funny thing I wanted to say to all the people watching. Funny thing is, I don't know why, but like every time I drive an hour away from Orlando in any direction, I swear to God, any direction, it's just like like it's just like how to explain it without sounding bad.
Like what?
It's just country. It's just redneck. It's just country town. Like it's like Orlando is the epicenter, and then you have just like southern living.
Well, Orlando is in the middle of Florida.
But it's such a like okay. What I'm trying to get at is like you would expect Orlando to also be like southern living, right?
Not really.
Because all these places are surrounding it are also like country town, like southern U.S.
To
but
my
no.
understanding, before the parks and all the madness, this was just country.
Yeah, probably
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. That's what I keep hearing. You know, I know like 2 people that are actually from here.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's what they say.
yeah, it's like before like Universal was a thing, and like before Disney was a thing, it was like a country bumpkin town. Like
It really was. I don't even think anything
like,
much
all
developed.
Florida,
Like I-4
pretty
was
much.
nothing.
I-4
I-4 was dirt. It was a dirt road.
Literally a dirt road. It was just like
Yeah.
people just snatching alligators and stuff like that.
Just grabbing alligators by the skull,
Yeah, by
tossing
the
them back
neck.
into the lakes. But no, so like this is one thing too, because I was thinking like, you know, you have perspectives. Like we were both born here,
Yeah.
right? I've lived here my whole life. All I know is Orlando. I mean, I've traveled to Ohio to see family. I've been to New York State once. I've been to Canada once, and there's a few trips here and there. But
That's all you've traveled?
well, I've been to also North Carolina. There's just a few here and there. But like I just thought it'd be interesting to get y'all's perspective, right? So like you who moved here,
Mm-hmm.
like what's your thoughts on Orlando? You've been here for a year, and then also you've lived here your whole life,
Yeah.
but I know you want to move out of Orlando.
Uh-huh.
So what's your thoughts on Orlando, right? So like you got 2 different perspectives on that. Whoever wants to start that.
I mean, I think it's hard to say because there's so many different people, and I've met so many different kinds of people, like from all these different backgrounds. There's actually a huge Venezuelan population here in Orlando, especially like in Kissimmee area.
There is.
Yeah. So, like, I hang out with them sometimes. I hang out with people that are locals. I hang out with people that are, like, from Europe or, you know, you just, like, in your everyday life, you just see people from all these different cultures and all these different backgrounds. So you don't really, I can really perceive, like, like a unified culture. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's hard to say like what I think of Orlando or Orlando's culture.
Mm-hmm.
All that I can say is that we all seem to, like get along. That's what I see. That's my perspective.
I feel like Orlando's culture is everybody's culture who's moved here, who's come here to visit, and it's kind of meshed. Because I think the same thing. That's kind of why I like Orlando, to be honest with you. And I want to move out and do my own thing. I want to kind of build and like have new experiences. But there's one thing like Orlando has, and I feel like it's that. Because you can meet somebody from, I met somebody from New Zealand. Shout out to Jeswu, and
Did you understand him?
her.
Her?
I took a little bit, but like there's little times like from Disney, right? From Disney College Program, you meet people you would never have met living in just like, little small town somewhere. But with your perspective, right? So
My
like
perspective.
you've lived here your whole life. What do you think about Orlando, right?
Oh.
So you've got one. I kind of share the same thing with Luis, where it's like there's all these different people to meet. There's this whole kind of like the culture is the people in
Yeah.
a way. So I think you agree with that.
Wow.
That same
all
thing.
like the
It's like
different kinds
kind
of people that you can meet and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's more like it's nothing wrong with Florida for me.
But
But
It's just I've lived here so long, and it's like
Yeah.
going back to like eating like a whole bunch of peanut butter. It's like that's how it is.
Yeah.
It's like I kind of don't like it anymore, and it's like I
you
just
can eat
want,
peanut butter all the time, but there's a point where it's going
You
to get
got some?
tiring.
What? No.
Oh, we should have
Okay.
brought some peanut butter.
dang.
Call it the peanut butter podcast,
Yeah, that's a better idea.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Why didn't you think of that? Fresh pop. Ah, my
Fresh
God.
popcorn, buttery.
What were you thinking
gross.
about?
Was it you, Tiara, that I said fresh popcorn, and you were like, "Oh, so it's about movies"? Was that you? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
what
I was-
people
no,
would think.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
people would think
wait,
that, though.
oh, that would be a thing.
Yeah.
But I'm a movie buff, so maybe it could be a thing, you know?
Okay, in your head, it's okay.
Okay, psychologist.
But like continuing on, it's like I would like to go to New York because it's like it. When I was there,
Mhm.
it felt like I was actually home.
See, that's one thing that I also think about with Orlando is I like the place, I love the place, I love the people. But even though all my family's here,
Mhm.
I feel like, I mean, it's definitely home. Like, I definitely feel the home vibe, but it just feels so, like, I don't want to say shared, but it feels like it's not home in a way, because it's just such a big place and there's so many different people you meet. It's like,
That has nothing to do with it being your home,
yeah,
I think. Because I think that just home is people
Yeah.
more than anything, like the people that you're with.
Yeah.
Like, and not only as a psychotherapist, but, just as an immigrant that came here on his own. My whole family is in Venezuela, so basically, like, my whole world is in Venezuela because for me, family is, like, the most important thing in the world. So basically, I mean, home is whenever I'm chatting with my parents, when I'm talking to my siblings. That for me, that's like, I get the vibe of home when I'm doing that. And I've traveled a lot, and I like to, I was an exchange student for a year, so I spent a whole year without seeing my family, and I didn't like feel homesick or anything, like probably on Christmas. But other than that, not really, because you always know that you have a home to go back to.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
a feeling of home, that there's a safe place that you can always go to. So to me, it's like home. It's not a place anymore. You follow?
Asgard is not a place; it is its people.
Nerd.
But no, but hey, you can call me nerd all you want. I'm a self-admitted nerd.
Okay, you're self-aware of your nerdness.
Thank you for
Okay.
rephrasing that.
Of course.
No,
I'm a
but,
psychotherapist. That's what I'm supposed to.
See,
You just got diagnosed.
boy, he just got diagnosed. No, but like, yeah, I think I agree with that. You know, like it's home is kind of where your people are in a way.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I think I crave new experiences. So like I do want to move out to meet new people because I feel like I'm just kind of doing the same thing in Orlando. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
'Cause when
that's
I go-
something different. Like you could go somewhere else and pursue your dreams, but
Yeah.
you have that safe place.
You have the people here.
Yeah.
Because like anytime I go to Tampa or Sarasota or like Jacksonville or we went to North Carolina once, and it's like that always feels like a new experience, new place, and it feels so at home for me in a way because I know what I do best is I like to try new things. So like literally like I love new environments, new experiences, new places to go look at, new food, new restaurants, like all these things. So I don't know, maybe I'm just figuring myself out in that one. Fresh popcorn. About movies, right?
What?
Fresh
I
popcorn.
thought it was about movies. I thought we were gonna analyze some movies here.
I
That's
mean,
why you
it's kind
called
of
me.
misleading. Fresh popcorn being the name is kind of misleading, I guess,
It is kind of misleading.
because we're not eating popcorn. We should have popcorn.
Didn't you bring? I thought you were gonna bring popcorn. To be
You know,
honest.
I would.
I'm really disappointed.
No, I was going to, but I thought about how it would sound on the mics. Because you would just be like, yeah, so
Some good ASMR, right?
some ASMR,
Yeah.
some popcorn ASMR.
We have to be real, bro.
You know, it'd be sick to get pop filters that are in the shape of popcorn. So you're talking into a popcorn.
Just like the movie theater ones.
Uh-huh.
Just the buckets.
But hey, with movies, right? What's kind of like to fully switch it completely 180? Like, what's one of y'all's favorite movies? Right? What's your favorite genre?
Favorite genre?
Uh huh.
That's a tough one.
Mine's sci-fi, hands down.
Sci-fi?
Oh yeah.
Not a question about it.
No.
No, it's definitely not my favorite. I don't know. I think that I like movies that make you think.
Mm-hmm.
More than a genre, I like movies that, I like good dialogues. Like just movies that have like a deep meaning and that you really have to pay attention to figure it out. You know
Something where maybe the ending's not as maybe the ending's more obscure.
Something like I really like this movie, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I guess everyone likes that movie. There's also this movie made by this director from Belgium. It's called Mr. Nobody with Jared Leto. You probably know it as well.
Yep.
That's a really, really good movie that I really enjoy. And, just that kind of vibe, that kind of movie that, makes you think and
I like those two.
Has a mystery,
There's no clear-cut ending, right?
Exactly,
You have the ends and it's kind of the
I like
viewers.
open endings.
Exactly.
That make you think afterwards, like that you keep thinking about the movie after you watch it. It wasn't just pure entertainment. you know, but something like meaningful. I like reading, so that's probably why.
That might be one thing, because I know people who hate those kind of movies.
There's I know them too. I'm like, hello?
Hello?
What happened?
Movies. What's your favorite genre?
Oh, it's sci-fi and fantasy, but I also like movies that make you think too.
I think
it's like,
I don't know. Like,
but I also like the movies that are just dumb fun.
So have you seen The Room?
The Room? Yes, I have seen The Room.
So I haven't seen it, but I've seen clips of The Room. Have you seen The Room?
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
It is a Tommy Wiseau. Like basically, it's a really bad movie, but it's fun to watch it since it's so bad.
It's horrible. I've seen clips of it.
It's
never seen the whole thing. Don't know if I can watch the whole thing.
You probably won't.
I really don't.
I saw the whole thing. It's like, hi, Mark.
It's just so bad. It's good in a way.
Yeah, it's like one of those movies that it's like it's so bad, but it's funny because you obviously see that he doesn't see that it's a bad movie. He thinks of it as it's a really good movie.
That's the thing that makes it more funny in a way, because it's like, no, if you can criticize him all you want.
No, he doesn't care.
He doesn't give a
shit.
He
does not.
He's like, I made the best movie. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, like literally, he's like, but for being, is he French?
I don't know.
I think he's French.
I feel like he's his own thing.
I think he's
He's an alien.
I think he's French, but he's so patriotic for being.
Have you seen Tommy Wiseau? I'm gonna pull a picture of Tommy.
For being a
Okay, show me a picture.
Not from the U.S.
Here, this is Tommy Wiseau here.
And they also made a movie about him.
They made a movie about the movie he made.
Is it The Disaster Artist?
The Disaster Artist is the movie. So they made... That's Tommy Wiseau.
Oh, stop it. Just show me Keanu.
Just show me Keanu.
He's the great value Keanu Reeves.
Like
oh, hi, Mark. He looks like, Keanu Reeves in drag. Wait, yeah. Or somebody in drag being Keanu Reeves.
Like Carrot Top pretending to be Keanu.
I like movies that are just like really dumb. Like,
well, let's finish the movie topic, then I'll say we'll take a break.
Like big monsters and stuff like that.
Big monster. Have you seen that meme? Oh, I gotta send it to you.
No, you have not.
It's just some dude saying "big monster."
Like
he's like scared of it.
Like the Godzilla movie that came out recently. It's like there was nothing really to it. The story was kind of crap, but it was big monsters just fighting on the screen. It's like
you're like, yeah, right on.
It's like definitely. It's like it's, and I like how some directors just they just have fun with it. They don't even like. It's not supposed to be like a big like the story like it's like they're just having fun with the movie.
I think my most disappointing movies, you already know what it is.
What?
Somebody who had too much fun with the movies and gave no plot.
What?
Transformers.
Oh yeah.
God. Okay, the new one's all right.
I thought you were gonna say Pineapple Express.
What?
I'm just kidding.
No, like, dude, have you seen any of the Transformers movies?
Not really. Not a big fan. I mean, I like Transformers, especially when I was a kid, but I don't watch it anymore.
No, like, I'm a fan, and I really, I feel hurt. Like, that was abuse, what I went through.
There was, like, a period in time where they, like, skipped a big portion of it, and it just, like, went into a different topic. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah. Well,
Like, and some of it didn't even make sense from one movie to another.
and even the fifth one, right? The fifth one just said, "Yeah, plot, nah," and it threw everything out the water.
Like the last one that I saw is like,
That's what we saw.
yeah, but the one before that, it was the one with,
I
what
think
was
that-
it?
Lockdown, Age of Extinction.
Yeah, that one made no sense. Like,
That one makes-
literally.
I think that when you have to make a fifth movie, then it makes no sense anymore.
What is it? What is God, what is it? The Hobbit would like a word with you, because Lord of the Rings was 3, and then The Hobbit was 3, right?
The
So
Hobbit.
there's 6 total. Yeah, the
Well-
Lord of the whole Lord of the Rings.
I mean, there are a
To
few,
be honest, like,
there are a few
the
cases
Lord of
when
the
it comes to
Rings is like
sagas, especially when they come from books. Of course, I mean
that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's just like if you really have to make a fifth movie of Transformers, you really run out of
It's
ideas,
just like,
my man.
money,
Like,
please.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
With the Hobbit, those are just prequels on there.
But it's
So
still part of the story.
It is part of the story,
Yeah.
but it's more of giving you more background to the beginning of the original trilogy.
Yeah, I get that.
It's kind of like this
So-
Game of Thrones kind of thing. Like every episode is like a movie, like a short film, and
It's a big long movie.
yeah, and they could.
Like each episode is like a movie though.
Yeah,
It's like
and
40 minutes
they could
each,
make
right?
more of the story. Like they could make a second story, and they could tell us what happened before and how they got into that mess.
Someone talked to me about Avengers, and they were like, "Yeah, Avengers. It's like Marvel successfully made a Netflix show that's an hour long or an hour and a half long for each movie, because basically it's what it is. It's just movies that are like it's like Netflix shows, but they're movies.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, it's like
Yeah.
season 1, season 2, except it's what is it? What do they call it? Not tier, not year. They call it something. Phase. Phase
Phase?
1, phase 2, phase 3.
Okay.
So it's like seasons. But so yeah, I think we'll take a break now.
Cool.
When we get back, we're gonna actually dive into some more psychology stuff, and
Okay.
I think you'll like talking about it because I can already tell you like talking about the brain and how it works.
Sure.
And I am intrigued with the brain. I don't know if you are.
Well, I don't mind it.
Brain's alright.
I can talk about it.
Brain's alright. But yeah, we'll get right back. It'll be seamless for y'all. So, welcome to Psychology Corner with Seth Greth.
Okay.
So we're diving into like a lot of psychology with this, and I don't want you to dip away because it's really interesting stuff. Basically, kind of how your brain works, and also word connotation and stereotypes, but not in the way you think. Okay, not in the stereotypical way that you think of a stereotype, and not like a racial stereotype. More of like word stereotypes. And I'm gonna dive into it a little bit with you, but I wanted to talk to you about it because I thought you would have some good insight on it.
Sure.
So basically, my kind of thing is, if you want to explain the file system, like how your brain works, 'cause I really am intrigued by how your brain works. And I know that neurological pathways work like files and like file folders.
Yeah, that's a way to say it. But I mean, when it comes to stereotypes, that's kind of like the topic you want to talk about, right?
Well, yeah, I can go into it a little.
Yeah, I mean, like that's part of how your brain works. We basically have models in which we perceive reality, and we're continuously challenged to change those models because we face realities or we face experiences that we've never been into before, and you can never know yourself towards a certain experience until you experience it. So yeah, basically stereotypes are like models as well in which we perceive the world, because we cannot be specific on everything. We need to find like some general points so we can, establish those models that I'm talking about. So stereotypes are actually one of the ways in which your brain works so you can structure your own reality.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, I mean, stereotypes are not bad per se.
Yeah.
Wrong ideas
Exactly.
and stereotypes based on wrong models are the ones that are problematic. And stereotyping is just a mental model. It's just a mental process. But you have like the behavioral side of stereotypes. It's not longer called a stereotype, but it's called discrimination. And also discrimination is how your brain works so you can, establish differences between different objects. So it's also a mental process. It's not bad per se either, because if you have an iPhone and I have an Android, I can discriminate between these two and find which one I like the most.
And I love that word you're using because it's not how we think of discriminate. It's a whole different process.
Absolutely. So when you have a stereotype based on race or based on something that it's that can only give you superficial information, right? Then you discriminate people
based off that stereotype.
Then it's a problem.
Yeah.
But stereotypes per se are not really a problem because
you're just saying it's a way that your brain kind of
we were kind of like talking
filters in a way.
We're kind of like talking how Orlando's culture is and stuff like that. And in order to do that, you kind of have like to generalize, and a stereotype about it.
I think that's because you're basically a synonym, right? Of that you're generalizing.
Yeah, I
in
mean,
a way.
Yeah, and it's not bad to generalize. I mean, we're for example, if you say we're all humans, like. Yeah, right here we're all humans.
That's a stereotype.
It's not. Yeah, it is a stereotype, but at the same time, it's true.
Yeah.
Because unless you're an alien, then I'm sorry for that. I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah, no, but and I'm happy you said that. I'm really because that was like something I never even thought about before. But also too, I was thinking of like with words, right? With word connotation. So you know how you have a positive connotation and negative connotation? Mm-hmm. One thing I was thinking about, and the reason I wanted to bring this whole topic up in the first place, is because my company used to be called FL Media, right? I had to change it because FL, you can't trademark. You can't copyright that word. So I was thinking about names, and I'm like, okay, what's going to make me stand out? So I went with Nomad Films, okay? Something about Nomad, the word Nomad, it just didn't sound positive, right? Something in my brain was saying, this sounds like a negative, because I even looked it up. I said, is nomad a negative connotation word? But hold on, in history, right, and what the actual word means, it's a people group who moves from place to place.
Exactly. It's people that are walking.
Exactly. But like they don't have
that's the whole definition of it.
But they don't have their own place. They don't stay in one spot.
No.
But so and the person who wrote this article, she even she's like, most people associate the word nomad as just a wanderer, someone who has no goal. And so there's this negative association with it. A couple other words I had for examples, right? Counseling, anxiety, depression. These are things that everybody I feel like experiences or goes through, but there's such a negative weight with that word. It's
because those are negative experiences, but it doesn't mean that they're bad experiences.
Exactly, they're not always bad.
They're part of how your body and your brain works. You know, you need anxiety so you get stuff done. You need depression to realize that something's wrong and that you need to do something about it. Emotions have their own purpose in life, but of course, like when it comes to counseling or when it comes to I need help, people are thinking that what they're feeling is wrong, but not necessarily, because it's just their brain telling them that, hey, you need to do something. And what goes wrong with those feelings is when they become a disorder, basically. And there's certain criteria to, establish what is a disorder and what's not. I mean, you can feel sadness, you can feel anxiety, and that doesn't mean that you have an anxiety disorder or an emotional disorder. That is not the same thing. And also, looking for help is nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people associate going to a psychotherapist or going to the psychiatrist as something bad, or they have this experience that they're going crazy because they don't feel like themselves, but they're actually being themselves, and they're experiencing a crisis. So that's just part of who you are, and those emotions, you're responsible for your own emotions. Even though you cannot decide to trigger them, you can do something about them. It's basically our roles.
Well, I think about that all the time, because as somebody who went through a counseling a year and a half ago with going through grief of people passing away in my life, I saw it, because before I did that, right, I had the same thoughts. I'm like, no, I'm not going to go to counseling. That's for someone who's not there, someone who's not mentally. It's a stereotype, but it's something that your brain. I feel like it's that first association. You hear that word, and you're like, well, I don't need counseling. I don't need that, right? I don't need this, or I'm depressed. I don't need. I'm not. No, but it's this thing of there shouldn't be a negative connotation with the word.
You see,
but it is.
People think it. This happens to other people. It doesn't happen to me. But to be fair, depression and anxiety, we all experience that.
You said this. You preemptively said this happens to everybody, except for me.
No, it happens to me. I'm a really anxious. I'm a really anxious person. I have to deal with anxiety. And you see, coming here alone, to this country, it could be a lot as well. So
That's hella scary.
Yeah, being a psychotherapist doesn't mean that you're perfect. First of all, that's one of the misconceptions that people can have. For example, if you see me at a nightclub having fun or having a few drinks, people would think, "Oh, are you really a psychotherapist?" Yeah, I mean, like I have a personal life.
You have your own life.
Yeah, and I make mistakes, and I know that I look like I'm perfect, but I'm really not.
That's some Nate humor right there.
I say the same crap. It's like, yeah, I may act on the outside like I'm perfectly fine, but there's probably gonna be something like deep down that I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
You need a hug.
What? No,
Okay.
not at all.
But I mean, I think too. Like I was talking to my mom and my dad, and I was talking to one of my other friends who, her mom's like in her 60s, right? And I was talking to her about this topic, right, counseling. And she's like, yeah, well, when I was younger, if you were to say you had to go to counseling, that was like 98%. Anybody you told, they would say, well, you're obviously mentally ill or something. And it was this huge stereotype back in the 60s or 70s.
Look, psychotherapy started
and I
in
think
the
it
50s.
carried over.
It started in the 50s, psychotherapy.
Really?
Yeah, so it's kind of like a new thing. Psychology is not new.
Well, no, yeah, psychology
is not new, but
No,
psychotherapists, it's kind of a new thing. Like it started formally in the 50s, and it wasn't perfect, and we were missing a lot of information back then. But I think it's become something more and more important nowadays, and I think that's something that is also needed for our societies. I mean, just look at the people, how scattered they were, like before psychotherapy, like veterans from World War II.
Yeah.
They didn't have that chance, to go talk with somebody and to feel like what they're going through is something that is perfectly normal for you to go through, considering the circumstances, and you need that because we don't know most people don't know how our brains work. Most people don't know how to deal with this stuff, and you have people that go to school that study to find out how to help people, and you have also people doing a lot of research and like researching these treatments and see if they work or they don't work, or why they work and why they don't.
Yeah.
So you have people like trying to figure this out all the time, and people doing tremendous work and doing tremendous effort to find the best way to help other people. And there are a lot of different therapies. There are a lot of different treatments that are out there. There are different theories, and I just tell people to go find whatever works for them. Because,
I say that too.
What I do as a psychotherapist is that I adapt the treatment that I'm gonna use to the person, and not the other way around. Like it's not like following everything by the book. At some point, you have to do that because you're not playing either. It's science.
Yeah.
But probably just change your language a little bit so so the other person can feel more comfortable with you. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. It's like an inner dialogue in a way. If you change your inner dialogue, you can start changing your subconscious and start looking at your life in a better way.
Yeah, and you have to look for things that trigger motivation in people.
Yeah.
So it's not always the same thing with every patient. Every patient is different. So even though you're using the same treatment model or the same theory, you got to change it a little bit and adapt it to that specific circumstance that the person is subjectively feeling.
Yeah, no, I just thought I was really interested with it because like I was thinking about like the nomad word and like not I don't want to say like negative connotation words. Obviously, people know like the one words that there's a defined line that it's like that's not right to say, obviously. But like I'm saying words that like like for like example like the whole counseling thing, right? Because you have one. I feel like there's a lot of people have an idea of what it is, and no, like it's just your brain first reacts because maybe the older generations were like that's the way they were. I don't know how that is, but
yeah, and we pass on these things from generation to generation.
That's what I'm trying to say.
So, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, no, like I just found it really interesting and intriguing. Like, sometimes people will think of a word like that, and in reality, there's nothing wrong with going to see a counselor because it's like you said, it's somebody to talk to.
At some point, it's something that you need. I mean, even I need even I need a psychotherapist. Like I've been to psychotherapy before, like to deal with stuff that could give me trouble while treating with patients. For example, if my girlfriend dumped me, and then I have this girlfriend that feels so guilty about dumping this guy, and I'm hurt, and I listen to her, and I can only think about my personal problems and think, oh, you're still mean with this guy or whatever, it's not what happened to me personally, but it's just like a good example for people to understand.
Yeah.
Like how it works. I mean, you gotta be like at least mentally stable in order for you to help other people, and you gotta know yourself, and that's basically what psychotherapy is: knowing yourself.
I was going to ask you about that because I know you said psychologist, but like psychotherapy as its own thing. Is that what that is?
I mean,
It's finding yourself?
psychotherapy is like the practice of psychology.
Okay.
All right. So it's like the formal practice of psychology. That's what psychotherapy is. And yeah, it's a lot about finding yourself. It's a lot about knowing who you are and what is best for you. And, you know, a lot of people think that your psychotherapist is the one that's going to solve your problems, but it doesn't work that way. It's more like maybe like a good example is like if you're diving, you need a guide to dive with you, right?
Exactly.
But you're on your own journey at the end of the day, because what we're diving in is not like the open ocean, but yourself.
And you have a guide, you have a line. There's things
Yeah, and you have someone that can help you out through that process and make it the least traumatic possible. And
that's a good example.
And yeah, I mean, only you have the power to change your life, and only you have the power to, you know, deal with your stuff. You need help? Yes, we didn't come to this world alone. We need other people. That's basically our nature.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I have a magic wand and I'm gonna solve your problems.
Universal.
It doesn't work that way.
The Harry
Wands
Potter
are
wands.
universal.
No, but like, and even talking on the whole, like, your people are your home kind of thing, like you said earlier. You know, we're social animals in a way. Like, we are literally social people.
It's not in a way,
Absolutely.
we are social animals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like because it's like we can't. What we've built so far as a society was built upon us being together and dealing with problems together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can't have. All right. So you like Legos, right? Okay.
I do. I like Legos.
So you like Legos a lot, all right? So you see every piece in the build that you're trying to build, okay? What happens if one of the pieces are gone? It's not complete.
It's not complete.
No, it's not.
It goes from complete to incomplete.
Yeah. So when
You can make do, but
you can make do with it.
it's not the full
It's
completion.
not the full
Yeah, exactly.
completion. So if you're missing a lot of those pieces in the society, you're not going to have like the same people that were there for that society. So it's going to be a little bit different.
I think too, that's also a great example of Legos, is because if you miss a lot of pieces, what happens?
It kind of like crumbles away.
Crumbles away.
It crumbles away.
It literally will fall apart.
And some people, like, it also depends on the people that are there too, because it depends on when people, like, if they get along or not.
Exactly.
Because there is some differences in our society that don't get along with each other, and you can't just force that upon each other.
Yeah.
Because it's like magnets. It's like when you take a north end and a south end, they go together. But when you put like two norths together, it's like they always reject each other.
Yeah.
I was basically just saying that sometimes you just need it, like, and even as a
Somebody to
psychotherapist, you
talk
need
to.
it. Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah, not only to talk to, like, it's not only talking. Psychotherapy is not only about talking. It's also about, like, planning activities that can help you be better. For example, if you're afraid of phones, let's say, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to gradually make you more comfortable with this image, like with the phone, so, until at some point, we're going to talk about it. Like, a lot of it is talking about it. And then we're going to imagine how you would feel close to a phone. Like, and then, like, the final step is, like, here's a phone. Touch it. Grab it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's an activity. It's not only talking.
Whoa.
Yeah, you're
I'm doing
cured.
it.
You're cured. Yeah. I'm the best.
But it intrigues me, like, you know, even simple, like, steps like that. Like, I was doing a lot of exercises with some, like, online things that I saw. And, like, just the power of, like, inner dialogue and changing, like, what you tell yourself, that how that can help mold your own image.
Okay, it is proven that thinking or knowing what's right for you is not gonna do any good for you alone.
Okay.
Like, it's needed that you know yourself. It's needed that you know your problems. It's needed that you're self-aware of what's going on with you. But it's not just talking. It's not just thinking.
I think it's action.
Doing.
Yeah.
A lot of it
There's
is
a lot of
doing.
stuff, too.
And also, if you do and you do and you do and you're trying to do, but you have the wrong ideas, you're not going anywhere. So it's like a combination of both.
So yeah, like
It's action.
Yeah, it is action.
Yeah.
No, to me, like, for real, it is actions. Because, like, beforehand, it's like I wasn't, like, social, but it's like I had to get out of my shell and be more social. That's why I'm, like, talking, like, normally now. Like, before, I wouldn't even do this.
Yeah.
I would not do this.
But even, like, I think that's a testament, too, because it shows, like, you know, in my life, right, example, I've always struggled with the action side of things. So I am really good about keeping consistent with what I say, with how I feel about people, with talking to people. You know, I'm very consistent with, like, catching up with people, caring about people. But there's always been this thing that I've always struggled with, which is follow through. And so it's the action side of things. And seeing that, like, you see, like, it's almost hand in hand. Like, you can't have one and not have the other. You know, if you have the action but don't have the other thing of it, which is the emotional side, the caring, the talking.
So you can, like, literally just think of it as, like, yeah, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to do this.
And it's
I'm
not...
going to do this. But if you don't follow through with it, it's like, it ain't going to happen.
And if you do all of this but don't do the action, then it's both the same.
Yeah. And it's not only, like, having the right ideas and, you know, knowing about what you should do. You also need the motivation to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to find your own motivation. You got to, and that's part of knowing yourself. You got to know what triggers you to do something. And, you know, like, expose yourself to those circumstances or objects that make you feel motivated.
What would you say is more important, right? Somebody who says, like, I'm going to use the word love you as an example because it's the easiest one to kind of grasp, I think. Mm-hmm. Someone who says they love you and always, like, talks about it, or someone who doesn't ever say it but shows it. What's more important in your regard? From a psychologist background and, like, psychotherapy, what do you think you need to always show it?
I think you need both.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, even if you're not, like, from, like, having that kind of background, like, a normal person, if you ask that, it's like, you would say you need both. Mm-hmm. You can talk to somebody, it's like, they say it's like, yeah, I love you. And it's like, it could just mean nothing to that person. But
or if you say it too much.
If you say it too much,
yeah,
and you don't do anything about it, it's like...
I think it's more important that you show, because, you know, like... I'm the kind of guy that I don't care about your intentions. I care about, like, the outcome. Mm. You know what I'm saying? Because you could have the best of intentions and then you become the president of this nation and then you screw it up. I don't care about your intentions. Okay, you want me to say you're a nice guy? Okay, you're a nice guy. You had the right intentions, but we all needed you to do the job.
Exactly.
Right? So... for that reason, I don't care that much about the intentions. Of course, people have, like, evil intentions. They're always going to do something wrong. Mm-hmm. So, but, you know, actions speak a lot more than words. But it's also nice. Like, it's a good, how do you say it? It's a good reinforcement to say it. Because we kind of need to hear that, like, from someone that you love, you know. Not only... that they show you, but they tell you, that they remind you, not because you need to know, you already know, it's just because it is nice and it, you know, makes the relationship grow more.
Yeah, because I've seen both sides where it's like, you have one I've met people who are like, yeah, no, I don't care how many times you say it, but it's your actions that show it.
Yeah, and if you don't say it...
who say it's unconditional. It doesn't matter what you've done. Like, and that's more family, I think. Yeah. But I've seen both sides of it, in a way. So I think you need a mix of both.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm with you guys on that. I just wanted to get your opinions on it.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't say it, it means that you have some trouble with your feelings. Yeah. Because when you feel something, you want to say it. You know
I think also, too, it might be a personal struggle, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It might be something in the past or something you've done.
Yeah, exactly. It's not something terminal. I mean, it's something that you can work upon.
Oh, yeah.
But if you don't show it, then I think there's, you know, you're like another spectrum right there. Mm-hmm. Like, people are not really prepared to love you. And it's not a confusion or it's not a struggle. It's just... yeah. If they're not showing, there's nothing there. At least that's how it works to me. But you need both, for sure. It's good.
I feel like there's something, too, about, like, just eating healthy or staying on top of, like, sleep schedule. You feel rejuvenated, in a way.
You do.
So, there's a psychology behind that?
Of course there's a psychology behind that. I mean, what we recommend to all patients is that sleep well, eat healthy, and do exercise at least half an hour a day.
Yeah.
That's what we recommend because, like, actually, most of the disorders are related. Actually, all of the disorders are related with a sleep disorder. All of them. So that's, like, one of the things I ask, how are you sleeping? I ask that a lot. And what are you eating? Are you doing exercise? Like, that's important because that's going to help your brain to work properly because they're... your brain communicates, like your brain cells communicate using electrochemical impulses. So there's a whole chemistry in your brain, and if you eat healthy and you do exercise and you sleep well, then you're not gonna mess up with that chemistry.
What do you think? How do you think? Okay, it's just I want to branch and do like a little quick topic real quick before we end it. Like back to the sleep thing, because I'm really interested with the whole sleep, how big that plays into your not psyche, but like how you kind of act. Like how important would you say like getting enough rest is to every aspect of your life?
It's major.
Because I've been to the point where I've worked and had days where I don't sleep, or I work at 7 a.m. I go to bed at 3 a.m. Right, get minimal sleep.
And how's your mood and how's your energy?
Horrible.
You got your answer.
Yeah, any testament to that?
What?
Any testament to that?
Usually it's like, well, I've gone like days without sleep at all. It's like I just acted the same to an extent.
I don't know. I think there's something definitely with it.
Because it depends on the person too, I think.
But I'm a night owl. That's the thing. I like staying up late, but I don't like getting up early.
Okay.
But even though that's, to an extent, I do the same thing, but it's still not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
We're not built for just being up
24/7.
like at night for long periods of time.
Okay, let me catch this real quick. That
Yeah.
you have a sleep disorder doesn't mean that you have a psychological disorder.
Oh, no.
But
No.
if you have a psychological disorder, you have a sleep disorder.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm following.
So basically, you could have a few days without sleeping, and you're gonna be fine, most likely, but you're not gonna be at your best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No.
And that's what we should strive for. Like every day is a new day, and we should only be here and now. That's the best way, to make the most out of our lives, because you don't know if you're gonna die tomorrow, to be honest. So just make the best out of every day, and for you to do that, you need to be like 100%.
Yeah. So I think what I'm getting at with that is like, if you were to say to somebody watching the show, right, like they want to know how to be their best, would you say start with your sleep schedule?
I would say start with your sleep schedule, eat healthy, and if you have time for it, do at least half an hour of exercise. That's going to help you out. That's not going to solve your problems, but it's going to help out.
I think exercise too is so important. Like even if it's just walking, like something to get out and go do something. And what I do is when I work out, the very few times that I do work out, but there are times when I go walk or like a jog, I don't use my phone, and I just kind of just take in everything outside and just kind of just disconnect for a little bit. I think that also helps a little.
That's really helpful. I mean, and actually that makes me think of a really interesting topic right now, which is solitude, or like loneliness. There's some healthy loneliness that you need to go through your life. You need time to, like reassess yourself, to think about things, thoroughly. And you have just your private space with yourself. That's really good. That's really important. But then you have the other loneliness when, you like some social attribute in your life. It could be family, it could be romance, or it could be friendship. And none of those, like, none of those takes the other's place. Like if you miss one, the other one is not going to replace it. Like if you miss your family, and you have a good romantic life, that's not going to substitute your family. Or if you have a lot of friends and you don't have any romance or family, that's not going to substitute neither of those.
Yeah. I think too a lot of people will take, because I know I've done it in the past where like you'll have an empty hole, right? And you'll meet somebody or start dating somebody or meet a family member you haven't seen in a long time, and you'll almost put them in that hole to fill it. So when you're removed from that and you don't see them, you start feeling that emptiness again.
I think there's a hole regardless.
Okay.
There's always going to be a hole, and that's also part of our nature. And that's also what explains why we wake up every day and we keep going and we keep going and we keep going. Having that hole, because you're never going to be full, but you think that you would if you do stuff. So that's why we keep doing stuff, so we can like pretend that we can be whole one day, but we'll never.
Yeah.
You will always have a desire for something else. And desire is life.
Yeah.
The lack of desire, actually people that feel depressed, as we were talking about depression, the lack of desire is the closest experience to death that a human being
Really
can live.
Yeah,
Yes.
to be honest, it's like if you don't have anything to strive for, it's like what's the point of actually like being here? It's like,
well, it's almost like an existential nightmare, right? Which, you know, existentialism.
Yeah.
It's just that's that. It's
Hello?
what's the point of being here?
It's like if you have no room to grow, then like
what's the point?
Like what's the point of like
I think too that's
doing
why
anything else? It's like you just be lazy and bored.
I think that's why we attach ourselves to like, you know, to like different groups or different things that we like to do because we want to be we want to have purpose. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we all strive to have purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we gotta aim for the short term and for the long term as well.
Oh yeah.
And that's when the purpose comes in. Like if you have something long term that you really want to do, and that's gonna make you wake up every day in the morning. That's good. That's your thing. Mm-hmm. Like me personally, I like my kind of like long term goal, but I don't want it to be so long term. Is to validate my degree here, to get a master's degree here, to do so. And just do my thing, and after that I'm gonna have another long-term goal, and that's gonna help me out to wake up every day.
You're taking your long-term goals in a way day by day.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
I try to think about it in a big grand scale.
You should try to do something every day that gets you closer to the big goal. Doesn't matter how small it is, but you should do at least something that every day that you say, okay, I got closer to my goal today because I did what I was supposed to do. Doesn't matter how far it is. At least you did what you were supposed to do, and you played your cards. We all have different cards,
Because I know for me, like I had somebody else say that to me, which was even if it's the one thing you do. Even if it's one thing you do, like you should do one thing towards your goal every day, right? No matter how big it is. And I'm definitely a culprit to not doing that, right? So like with my business, it's like you have days where you just like I've struggled with not doing something for my business that day, right? So I don't know. I feel like we all struggle with that sometimes,
Yeah.
Because you could say, "Oh, I worked today. I went to work, and that's me saving money. So I did something for my goal."
But that's also part of it, Like going to work. That's one thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
you shouldn't say that's something. It's something that you do every day.
Well, I take it day by day. That's how I treat my goals.
Yeah, I mean, like it's going to work. It's like a routine, so you think that it wouldn't really count, but you do it every day anyways, and it's not easy. No. You're accustomed to it, but it doesn't mean that you're not doing anything. Like that, you should probably try something else, something different, make an extra effort. Yeah, you could do that if you have the motivation to do so. That's something you want to do. That's cool. Like but that's also something we do. Sometimes we undermine our efforts because of the results that we get, but that is the point where we have to be patient and consistent, not thinking that you're gonna find the results that you're looking for tomorrow, because it doesn't work that way. So time is like sand in our hands. I thought it was gonna drop. You think that I'm like clumsy?
No, go back with that allusion with an A. Time is like sand in our hands.
Imagine that it's flowing through my hands and it's going away, and I'm not young anymore. I'm just kidding.
So if you want to if y'all want to follow us on our social medias, we can shout them out now. Mine's Seth Greth. I'll edit it in, but you'll see it above my head or something. So that wraps it up for today's episode pretty much, guys. Thanks for checking it out. We're going to dive into more different topics throughout every episode, but like kind of this flow where it's like lighthearted fun, but just down to earth conversation, but then just diving for a little bit into something that I think is intriguing, something that kind of just makes you think. So if you want to follow the podcast, right, Fresh Popcorn Podcast on Instagram, we will be posting all of these on Nomad Films on YouTube. So check Nomad Films out. I'll have links in the description of this. I'll probably post this on Instagram, but I'll have links down below. That is it for the episode.